Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It's turning out to be a beautiful day, but the cold front hasn't passed yet. And until it does, we will still have a chance for rain. I'll walk you through the potential timing and locations ahead.
And verdict watch, 4 hours and still no decision in the trial of a man charged with killing a Home Depot worker.
Cancer screening challenges. New information reveals why former President Biden's cancer diagnosis was not caught sooner.
A warm front crossed our area this morning, and this afternoon we will feel hot and humid out there. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at our chances for an evening storm. Kat.
And it's going to be pretty limited overall, which is great news. But let's talk about the setup here. We still have a cold front working its way through our area, and we'll still have the potential for some storms, but it's mainly going to be in our northern counties, and that's because it's areas closer to the area of low pressure. Storm chances still in those locations, just 30%. It's mainly from Raleigh points north, and our southern counties looking much drier as we head into the evening hours. So if you do have outdoor plans today, I wouldn't adjust them for this small chance for rain. All is quiet right now on the dual Doppler 5000 radar. If you do want to head out to the playground with your kids, it should be a warm day to do so. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s in the triangle, but by 4 or 5 o'clock we could start to see a stray storm or two firing up in our area. It's not likely to be anything widespread. Just beware, it's going to be pretty hot, but that depends on where you live. 88 in Raleigh, 84 Rocky Mount, 73 in Roanoke Rapids, 78 in Roxborough. Much cooler in our northern counties where the rain lingered a bit later this morning, but Fayetteville making a run at 90 degrees as well as Clinton. The summer-like heat isn't going to last very long. We've got the cold front moving through, and we are going to cool down behind the front just in time for the weekend. It ends up being really nice, but only for part of Memorial Day weekend. I'll walk you through the best days and hours to be outside coming up.
Thanks, Kat. Jurors in Orange County resumed deliberations this morning in the death of an 82-year-old man. Terry McMillan is accused of killing Gary Razor, affectionately known as Mr. Gary. WRAL's Monica Casey is at the courthouse in Hillsborough with what has happened so far.
The jury has now been deliberating for about 4 hours in this case, and they have a lot to consider. Terry McMillan is charged with first and second degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and robbery. Prosecutors say when he shoved the 82-year-old Home Depot employee Gary Razor, that led to his death. In closing arguments on Tuesday, the defense attorneys for McMillan argued the medical examiner sided with law enforcement and the shove was assault but not murder. They also say the push was reactional, not intentional. Orange County DA Jeff Neiman pointed out in his closing argument a forensic pathologist testified that Razor died from blunt force trauma. If convicted of certain charges, McMillan could face a maximum of life in prison without parole. We will be in the courtroom every step of the way to keep you updated. Reporting in Hillsborough, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Raleigh police are investigating after finding a vehicle with bullet holes in it on New Bern Avenue. This was the scene around 9:30 this morning. Police received a call about 5, and officers can't say whether the vehicle was shot there or somewhere else. So far, there are no reports of injuries. State Capitol Police confirm a driver who struck 4 parked cars suffered a medical emergency before crashing. The multi-car crash happened this morning on North Wilmington and Polk Streets in downtown Raleigh. The driver hit 2 vehicles on the left side of the street and then 2 on the right. No word on that driver's condition. Stand by.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're getting a better idea of how much additional money could be coming to Western North Carolina for Hurricane Helene relief efforts. Just in the last hour, the State House calling for $450 million in additional aid on top of the $1.6 billion the state has already spent. Now, this new House proposal is only half of what Governor Josh Stein asked for this week. It's also less than what the state Senate is proposing, so negotiations will have to be met in order to come to a final agreement. But of course, more money is coming to Western North Carolina. Of course, our NC Capitol team is on top of this story. Look for new reporting starting at 4 on WRAL.
Ken, thanks. Today, state lawmakers in the House are scheduled to take their first vote on their nearly $33 billion state budget plan. Michelle McConaughey here now with what the budget would include and how likely it is to pass. Michelle.
Renee, the debate on the state House floor is taking place right now, and it's likely to last until at least mid-afternoon. The bill includes raises as well as tax cuts paid for in part through other spending reductions. And the plan would give teachers an average raise of 8.7% over 2 years. State employees would get at least a 2.5% raise, and the income tax would drop by 0.25% next year. It also cuts more than 3,000 state jobs, mostly vacant. House Budget Leader Donnie Lamberth called it a fiscally conservative spending plan that meets the state's needs.
This is an excellent plan, well thought out, and with a major investment in state employees, particularly with teachers, where North Carolina has slipped in our national and regional rankings.
And Democrats are praising some parts of the plan, but criticizing others. They say the raises for state workers don't even keep up with inflation. They say the state budget is tight because Republicans continue to cut taxes, even when it cuts into the state's ability to operate. After a vote today and a second vote tomorrow, the budget is expected to pass with some bipartisan support. State House and Senate leaders will then start negotiating a final deal.
First, it was Walmart last week. Now Target is warning customers to be ready for higher prices. The retailer is cutting its earnings guidance as it expects the Trump tariffs will push up costs. This announcement comes as Target's bottom line is on a downward trend. This morning, the company reported its sales fell during the last quarter. Target said that was due in part to customer backlash over its decision to reverse its diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And as we take a look at stocks this noon as well, Dow Jones Industrial Average has spent the whole morning in negative territory. It's down 344 right now. S&P 500 is down slightly, but it's a mixed bag because the NASDAQ is up 77 points right now.
There was plenty of drama overnight on Capitol Hill as President Trump's tax and immigration bill moved through the House. That was hours after the president himself paid a visit to the Hill, pressuring House Republicans to stop debating and start voting on his agenda. NBC's Garrett Haake explains how the bill will impact everyday Americans.
This morning, the House still battling over President Trump's massive tax and border bill.
This is an historic moment. The American people gave President Trump a mandate.
With all Democrats opposed to the multi-trillion-dollar measure,
we may be here in the dead of night, but you do not need the light of day to smell manure.
House Republicans can only afford to lose 3 votes when the bill comes to the floor. Speaker Mike Johnson, confident.
I believe we're going to land the plane.
The legislation includes major boosts in funding for immigration enforcement and the military. It also extends Trump's 2017 tax cuts, set to expire at the end of this year, and temporarily ends taxes on tips and overtime, 2 key Trump campaign promises. All of it paid for by cuts to food assistance, clean energy funding, and Medicaid, which Democrats say could lead to millions losing coverage. The president traveling to the Capitol Tuesday to urge Republicans to stop negotiating and pass the bill.
I think we have unbelievable unity. I think we're going to get everything we want.
Yesterday, President Trump also announcing that the bill will include spending for a new military project.
The one big, beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome.
The president moving ahead with plans to build a new missile defense system modeled after Israel's Iron Dome and aimed at protecting the U.S. from a range of threats, including missiles from China or Russia. But the project is costly, Trump estimating $175 billion, and could take years to complete.
You can rest assured there'll be nothing like this.
That was Garrett Haake reporting. Sad news from Capitol Hill. U.S. Congressman Jerry Connolly has died after a battle with esophageal cancer. The Democrat from Virginia was first elected to Congress in 2008, cultivating friendships on both sides of the aisle. This morning, the House Rules Committee paused its meeting on President Trump's tax bill and held a moment of silence in his honor. He served as the top Democrat on that House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform until late last month when he stepped down due to his illness. Jerry Connolly was 75 years old.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we are waiting for the start of a UNC Board of Trustees committee meeting. You can see we have the live stream set up ready to go. Now, among the topics of discussion, Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham will present an update on the athletic department. He'll also discuss potential sites for a new university arena. That discussion and presentation could also include an update on the football program. Of course, that's now led by Coach Bill Belichick. We have a crew inside this meeting room. Look for new reporting on this story. Of course, in our news starting at 4 on WRAL News Plus and online at WRAL.com.
We're gaining new insight into why it may have taken so long for former President Joe Biden to learn of his cancer diagnosis. A spokesperson says the former president was last screened for prostate cancer in 2014. Screening for prostate cancer often involves a prostate-specific antigen, those PSA tests, which has a high rate of false positives. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force does not recommend PSAs for men 70 and older, and the former president is 82. 1 in 8 women deals with postpartum depression, and now a researcher in Colorado is testing a medication that can help using so-called magic mushrooms.
It's called RE104, a pharmaceutical version of psilocybin. In this study, new moms with postpartum depression were injected with a journey-level dose of the drug while their health was monitored closely.
It didn't all look pleasant. It looked like a journey where people were seeing and confronting things that were anxiety provoking or raised fear in them. But then you'd kind of see that ebb and flow. And usually they would walk out of our center pretty calm.
Researchers say the drop in depression for moms was noticeable in the hours and weeks after that dose. While there's still more to study, the doctor behind the study says what she has seen so far is giving her hope that a fast, effective treatment for postpartum depression could be possible.
Next at noon, a dump truck through a home. How the homeowner needed to be rescued and where in that home they found the driver of the truck.
Also, California cliff fall, how a helicopter lifted the person to safety.
Also, wrong-way crash in Wake Forest killed a woman and left 3 others hurt. The charges pending for the person who caused this.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Our news continues right now here in the WRAL Live Center. I want to take you to these live pictures with the help of Sky 5. This is the Walmart parking lot. This is New Hope and New Bern Avenue. What we're being told is that there's a pedestrian accident involving someone here in this parking lot. You see the 2 Raleigh police cruisers there and the security for Walmart. Of course, the victims have been all taken away to the ambulance. We're working to figure out exactly who was involved, who was hit, their identity, and how they are doing. As soon as we get any new information about this story, we'll bring it to you here in the WRAL Live Center.
A man faces state and federal charges after police say he intentionally drove a pickup truck through an airport gate. It happened yesterday morning at Buffalo Niagara International Airport. Officers say, based on the video from witnesses, this was a deliberate act. The police chief says officers caught the man within 6 minutes and notified the control tower to ensure the incident did not disrupt any airplane traffic.
The vehicle did cross several pathways. One is a taxiway. The second pathway was a runway. And finally, the individual was apprehended on an inactive runway outside of a training plane.
This is the second time in less than a week a driver has made his way onto an airplane tarmac. Yesterday, or an airport tarmac, I should say. We told you about the DoorDash worker who drove into a restricted area at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. In that case, officers believe the delivery driver just made a wrong turn. No charges have been filed.
Shocking dashcam video shows the moment a dump truck smashed through a New Jersey home. The video shows the 73,000-pound truck veering onto the wrong side of the road, driving through yards, and then taking out a utility pole before plowing into this house. Paramedics got there about 10 minutes later. They were able to rescue the homeowner. It took crews nearly 3 hours, though, to free the driver who was trapped in the truck in the basement. The owner of the truck company says his employee suffered a medical emergency behind the wheel. So scary. A climber is recovering after falling 30 feet on a California cliff. The climber was scaling Lily Rock on Sunday when they fell. The high granite walls are popular with rock climbers. A Good Samaritan stayed with the climber until a rescue helicopter arrived and hoisted them to safety.
After 32 years at WRAL, Deborah Morgan will anchor her final evening newscasts tonight. The Triangle always counted on Deborah for balanced and trusted journalism, and she always delivered.
Deborah also had a huge impact on all of us here at WRAL who've had the privilege of knowing her and working with her. Take a listen to what she means to the WRAL family.
Deborah Morgan is class through and through.
She radiates warmth, compassion, kindness.
The best I've ever worked with.
That's why she's a tough act to follow.
And she called me to congratulate me on the job. And I remember thinking, wow, what a special place I must be going to. And what a special person.
Deborah is genuine and Deborah is sincere. And you can't fake that.
My mom used to say this. Some people have the ability to get their point across by beating you over the head with cotton candy. And she's got that too.
She is consistently the most prepared person. She's focused. She's so passionate about local news.
She can take a predictable idea and turn it into something real.
She brings a sense of integrity for what she believes in every day. We see that in the newsroom. We see that in her relationships.
I learned what it means to represent the station as an anchoring reporter here at WRAL, because when I looked at her, she did it with such grace.
There's a warmth to her that you can't really practice or hone. It's just who you are.
And I appreciate Deborah Morgan 100% for being such an amazing listener.
Hands down, the best partner I've ever had. Hands down.
And Deborah is not just the face of WRAL, she's the heart and soul of our team, and we will miss her, but we are so happy for her next chapter as well.
She really was relentless in her journalism and her kindness every single day. Kat Campbell's over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now as we start to kind of look towards that Memorial Day weekend, right?
Right. I mean, it's Wednesday. We're halfway there. We're almost to Memorial Day weekend, and it's kind of split. We've got 2 gorgeous days, 2 days with rain chances, but at this point, they're a bit more isolated. 75 degrees Friday, 77 Saturday. These 2 days are just incredible. You pretty much couldn't ask for better weather than that. Humidity is going to be low. It's going to be dry. It is just going to be glorious outside to start Memorial Day weekend. By Sunday, we could see some showers moving in late. Highs will be in the upper 70s again into Monday. Monday, we could see kind of a spread in temperatures across our area. And Monday does still look like the best chance for some showers and thunderstorms. The humidity takes a big drop, though. Today, it's feeling a bit more steamy outside. Starting tomorrow, the humidity begins to drop. It stays low Friday and Saturday before beginning to increase a bit as we head into the end of the weekend. So let's talk about the rain chances for Sunday and Monday. We're looking at the potential for the main low pressure system to still be pretty far to our west with the heavier rain, but with the front potentially stalling nearby, this could act as a focus for a few showers and storms to develop during the day. So we're going to have to watch this very closely. If the front stalls a little south, that could help to keep rain chances south of us. As of right now, even with those rain chances, Memorial Day weekend doesn't look all that bad for Sunday and Monday. A live look outside at RDU, a nice day today if you're traveling somewhere for the holiday weekend. It is humid, though. We're in the steamy category on the muggy meter with our dew points in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, we're going to be in between comfy and tolerable, and then over the weekend, comfy, maybe even refreshing as we get into Saturday. Currently, we've got a huge spread of temperatures in our area, and that's because of the cloud cover that lingered a bit longer for some. 71 in Wake Forest, 81 in Fuquay-Varina. So just across Wake County right now, there is a 10-degree temperature difference. It really depends on where you live, what you're seeing. 79 in Apex, 76 in Garner, 77 Cary, 75 in Durham at the moment. For the bus stop this afternoon, it's still mainly dry for the kids that are heading home. 85 degrees out there. We are still going to watch for an isolated storm during the evening in our northern counties especially, but we're not expecting anything being widespread out there. Looking ahead toward the weekend, Friday and Saturday should be the best days. And then as we get into early next week, we are going to be looking for an increasingly unsettled weather pattern. But in the meantime, you pretty much have 3 nice days in a row, just a small 20% chance for rain tomorrow. Renee and Jeff?
To get back in the 70s, that'll be nice for sure. Kat, thank you. Social media literacy this afternoon at 4, what state lawmakers are proposing to improve teen mental health and to stop bullying.
Plus proposed raises. The city of Raleigh is considering bumping pay for 911 operators. How they say it will help you during an emergency. Plus still ahead this noon, intelligent searches, how Google's new AI mode goes beyond gathering information.
Lawsuits settled. 2 local hospital systems are entering multi-million-dollar settlements over how they handle private information. 5 on Your Side breaks down the claims and what they mean for you.
Deborah, you are definitely one of a kind. I know you mean so much to so many people here. Just want to wish you all the best in your next chapter.
Patients say local hospitals sent their private information to Facebook's parent company, and now those hospitals are settling lawsuits for millions of dollars. 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur has been tracking these cases for years.
The lawsuits came after a 2022 report claiming that WakeMed and Duke University Health System had put something called a tracking pixel on their patients' portals. The lawsuits claim that pixel collected private information about patients without their consent and forwarded that information to Meta. Now, both WakeMed and Duke Health are in the process of settling patient lawsuits for $2.5 million and $3.7 million, respectively.
First and foremost, great that we're getting some settlements for folks that were affected. However, my concerns remain around what happened. And some of the lack of clarity that we've received.
We asked both Duke and WakeMed about the settlements, and Duke told us no comment. WakeMed said the same. Tonight on WRAL News, starting at 5, the big question about private patient data that is still unanswered even after these lawsuits have been settled. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
People can now use artificial intelligence mode when searching in Google. Over the coming weeks, you'll see a new tab for AI mode appear in search and in the search bar in the Google app. This new feature will act as a chatbot, breaking down your questions into subtopics. AI mode will also offer personalized suggestions based on your past searches. Fortnite is back in Apple's App Store after a nearly 5-year ban. You may remember Apple kicked Fortnite off the App Store in 2020 after carry-based Epic Games added its own in-app payment system, violating Apple's rules. After a major court ruling forcing Apple not to take fees from purchases made outside of apps, Fortnite is now available to play again on iPhones. It's already the top free download in the App Store.
Wrong way wreck and a person is dead. 4 others are injured in a late night crash. We're live at the scene with what we know about this investigation.
Travel changes ahead of the Memorial holiday weekend. How the FAA hopes to cut down on delays.
I started working with Deb on the anchor desk in 1995 when Capital Broadcasting launched the 10 o'clock news on WB50. And whether it was in the field or on the anchor desk, every day she brought energy, enthusiasm, empathy, and compassion if needed, and always, always the highest dose of journalistic integrity. Congrats on a great run, Demo.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number 1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Charges are pending in a deadly wrong-way crash on Capitol Boulevard.
It happened just after 11 o'clock last night near Star Road in Wake Forest. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan joins us from there with what we know about this crash. Chelsea.
Yeah, all morning long, we've been reaching out to Wake Forest police to try to get more information on the person who was tragically killed in this incident, as well as the wrong way driver. We're awaiting word of all of this, but this all happened here on Capitol Boulevard and Star Road, just about 2 miles, even less from the town of Wake Forest. Now, This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker taken just after 11 o'clock last night. We now know the crash involved a wrong-way driver who hit 2 other cars right here in this location. You can see the massive response there. In addition to the woman who was killed, 3 others were seriously hurt and taken to the hospital. Obviously, charges are pending for that wrong-way driver who was simply going the wrong way here on a very busy, typically busy Capitol Boulevard. We're working to learn the identity of the woman killed as well as how the 3 others are doing who are hospitalized. But for now, we're live in Wake County. Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
New developments in the jail escape from New Orleans. Overnight, authorities arrested a 5th man hours after officials charged a jail worker with helping them break out. 19-year-old Corey Boyd is the youngest of the 10 escapees. He was facing second-degree murder and aggravated battery charges. Investigators say Sterling Williams, a jail worker, told them one of the inmates threatened to shank him and directed him to turn off the water in a cell. Those escapees crawled out of a hole behind a toilet and got away. Williams is now facing 10 counts of principal to simple escape and 1 count of malfeasance in office.
This investigation is still an ongoing investigation, and so there could be more arrests that will follow.
You can either choose prison, because we are going to catch you and charge you, or you can cooperate.
Well, 5 inmates are still on the run 6 days into the manhunt. Officials say it is possible they have fled to other cities or states. The sheriff who oversees the jail has suspended her re-election bid. Susan Hudson admits there were procedural failures, but says there were also intentional wrongdoings. An independent investigation is underway.
Redevelopment plans near Moore Square in downtown Raleigh are changing. City Council approved recommendations for a new hotel, an affordable housing complex, and for a Raleigh Rescue Mission building on city-owned sites just south and east of the park. Council members say they are working toward an agreement.
It's a little frustrating, but we're moving forward. We're not being still, we're not being stagnant, where we have been for a number of years.
The city abandoned plans to build a new residential tower near the square for now. Staff cited increased interest rates and declining rental rates as the reasons.
The FAA is limiting the number of flights in and out of Newark Airport, where major staffing and technical issues have been an issue for weeks. This change comes ahead of the Memorial Day weekend travel period. Here's NBC's Emily Ikeda.
At Newark Liberty Airport, new flight restrictions in place this morning, with the FAA issuing an interim order immediately capping the number of hourly arrivals and departures, down from 77 under normal operations to 56 total. That reduction comes after the FAA met with airlines last week, writing the goal is to cut back on excessive flight delays due to construction, staffing challenges, and recent equipment issues that have plagued the airport. Last month, multiple air traffic controllers who manage part of Newark's airspace took medical leave, citing stress after losing both radars and radios.
I just got told that the approach lost all the radars. 3 of the 4 radar screens went black.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the FAA has been working to upgrade and replace equipment, with some controllers receiving on-the-job training.
I can't snap my fingers. I'm hopeful that the telecom will be fixed, and if we get more controllers on board, we're back to normal.
Despite the recent issues, the FAA, airlines, and controllers union all maintain that flying is safe.
It's safe to fly because of the hardworking men and women. Again, working 6 days a week, 60 hours in that week. We have to ensure that they're taken care of as well.
All of it as Americans are already crisscrossing the country for Memorial Day. AAA projecting a record 45 million people will travel over the long holiday weekend, the vast majority of them by car. And travel experts say there are still deals to be had for anyone looking at a last-minute trip or staycation.
Nightly rates for hotels this long weekend are under $200 per night, significantly lower than the average for the rest of the summer. If you book about 24 to 48 hours in advance, you can see super low prices on properties that have really awesome amenities, especially for families looking for a pool or some outdoor space.
That was Emily Ikeda reporting. An encore career. What drew a retired local band teacher to pick up the baton again?
Plus, cutting federal funding to libraries. The impact of the president's executive order on your library experience. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. Our Teacher of the Week is a beloved high school band director who retired but decided to pick back up his baton on a part-time basis. WRAL's Ken Smith is at Underwood Magnet Elementary to introduce us to this band leader with specific goals for his students and himself.
Ready, go. The sound of music always fills J.R. Richardson's heart with joy. That's especially true when the music is being played by his students. First, for 34 years at Broughton High School as band director, and now part-time at Underwood Magnet Elementary in Raleigh.
It's an opportunity to help a future generation appreciate the arts and everything that goes on.
When he's not helping his music students appreciate the arts, it's not uncommon for Mr. Richardson to show up, say, as maybe a birthday bunny, or to celebrate all things Star Wars, or how about Independence Day?
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and go.
Back in his music class, though, Mr. Richardson says everything he does is his way of giving back to a community that's given him so much over the years. But he still has some unfinished business.
My goal is to go 3 more years after this year. That will give me 50 years in the classroom.
Mr. Richardson, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give him a big round of applause. Ken Smith, WRAL News.
If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
Libraries across the country are reducing the number of ebooks, audiobooks, and loan programs following a Trump executive order. The president signed the order back in March to dismantle the Institute of Museum and Library Services, pausing millions of dollars in federal funding to libraries. Many libraries use federal grants to help pay for ebooks and audiobooks, but have had to limit or cut the amount offered completely because of the limited funding. Evening up the series. That'll be the goal for the Canes as they look to go 1-1 in the Eastern Conference Final. We'll have a recap of Game 1 after the break.
Roo on the run. A family pet makes a break for it, prompting a police response. First, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. You're looking live at Fayetteville Street in Raleigh, where you can see the tent setup and a music stage there. Live After 5 kicks off today in City Plaza. It starts at 6 and goes until 9 o'clock. So look for the WRAL tent, grab some swag. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Carolina Hurricanes have an uphill battle after one game in the Eastern Conference Final. Florida Panthers came into Raleigh and got rolling early, going up 2-0 in the first period, went on to win 5-2. The Canes will look to even up the series at 1 game apiece tomorrow night at the Lenovo Center. Puck drop for Game 2 is 8 o'clock. After the game, we have expert analysis on WRAL, so we'll break down every pivotal moment, what it means, what's next, and what you need to know. Canes exclusive post-game live airs only on WRAL at 11:25 after every playoff game.
Today, we are celebrating Deborah Morgan's incredible career at WRAL. Her final newscast will be tonight at 6.
And from leaders in the community to those of us here in the newsroom, we want to let Deborah know just what an impact she has made over her 32 years at WRAL.
For decades, folks like me have tuned in to WRAL in the evening to hear a reliable and trustworthy voice reporting on what's happening in the world that day, and you have been that voice.
You have been a newsroom leader. You've been an advocate for many. You have been a great friend to me.
Deborah Morgan, to me, is the epitome of consistent, focused, passionate, so passionate about local news.
She cares so much, and for that I am so grateful.
I've never seen her greet me with anything other than a smile.
You do this for all the right reasons, and you've set a precedence here moving forward.
And you have paved the way for so many journalists, including myself.
I have very few friends in my life who are better than you. And it is going to be a different world for me at this TV station without you, but I'm so happy for you.
Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for always putting a smile on everybody's faces.
Deborah, you have been such an incredible member of this community of Raleigh.
That's why I want to present you with an Ambassador of Agriculture Award.
I will miss seeing you. I will miss hearing your laugh, seeing your great smile.
You are so deserving of all the praise that you're getting this week.
Congratulations on an amazing career. A career built, if nothing else, on your authenticity as a connector.
And that is just a snippet of the lives she's touched. As you recognize some familiar faces from WRAL, Jim Axelrod, he was a CBS News correspondent, and Brett Baer on Fox News. Our WRAL family is vast, but it is also very close. And Deborah will always be a part of that family.
We're going to continue to gush all over her all day long and into the evening. She's got enough smile to go around for everyone and enough kindness for everyone to share as well.
All well deserved. Yeah.
Over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now, we got Kat Campbell looking at some humidity is dropping just a little bit in the days ahead.
I can't wait. It's going to be gorgeous outside, and that trend starts tomorrow, Thursday. 82 for the high, and then temperatures really start to fall as well. Friday and Saturday, mid to upper 70s, dry weather and low humidity. Doesn't get much better than that as you head into the holiday weekend. A northwest wind is going to really start to cool temperatures down for the start of the holiday weekend. It should be quite nice, so make outdoor plans those days especially. A live look in downtown Raleigh right now from the Natural Sciences Museum. You can still see a good amount of cloud cover out there. It's been warm and a bit muggy, but it depends on where you live, really. South Hill, 62 degrees right now, and that's what it feels like. But look at the difference for Fayetteville. 85, feeling like 88 with the humidity. Clinton, 85, feeling like 90. And here in Raleigh, it's 80 with a heat index of around 82. But our northern counties had the rain linger a bit longer today, some cloud cover, and are closer to this low pressure. And that's why there is still some cooler weather there. We are going to watch this evening as we see this cold front slowly work its way through. There could still be an isolated pop-up storm in our northern counties, mainly closer to that area of low pressure. And Futurecast really has that later this evening, closer to sunset. 5 o'clock still looking good out there. And once we get to perhaps 7, 8, 9, we could see one of these isolated showers or storms move through. But I wouldn't expect it to be very impactful. They should move pretty quickly. A 30% chance of a lingering shower or storm today. Tomorrow, there is a small 20% chance that goes up a little tomorrow night. This would mainly be in our southern counties. We do get a break from rain chances Friday and Saturday. And then by Sunday, late in the day into the night, that's when we do have a chance for some rain returning. Let's talk about the setup here. We've got one area of low pressure and a front moving on out of here. As we get into the weekend, we're going to have to watch where this front stalls out, because that is what's going to guide low pressure. And it's along low pressure that we've got the rain chances. Essentially, think of these fronts as highways for regions of rain to kind of move on along. So if that front does end up stalling here, we'll have some rain around Sunday and perhaps a resurgence of some showers and storms Monday and Tuesday. However, it does not look like a washout for any day for the holiday weekend. Looking ahead, 82 the high tomorrow. We even drop down to 55 tomorrow night into Friday morning. 52 by Saturday morning. Comfortably cool nights ahead. It should be really gorgeous outside those days. And just keep in mind, in the sunlight, it's still going to feel pretty warm. That's 77. Once we get to early next week, temperatures do take a climb, but Monday and Tuesday are one of those days, especially with the front stalled across the area, that it could end up being a lot cooler in Roxborough than what we see in Fayetteville. Jeff and Renee.
Thanks, Kat. How about this? A rogue roo, an escaped marsupial, gives police the runaround. And get this, it wasn't the animal's first run-in with the law.
And here's a look at your winning Mega Millions numbers. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. Jurors in Orange County resumed deliberations this morning in the death of an 82-year-old Home Depot worker. Terry McMillan is accused of killing Gary Racer when he pushed him to the ground in the garden center of the Hillsborough store in 2022. He is charged with first and second degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and robbery. You can count on WRAL for updates on air and online.
A woman and an infant were hit by a car in Raleigh. Sky 5 flew over that scene off New Bern Avenue, right in the Walmart parking lot there. That's where police say the infant and woman were hit and taken to the hospital. They have serious injuries, but they are expected to recover.
Today, lawmakers in the state house are debating their nearly $33 billion state budget plan. They're expected to take their first vote this afternoon. The bill includes raises for teachers and state employees, as well as tax cuts paid for in part through other spending reductions. After a vote today and a second vote tomorrow, the budget is expected to pass with some bipartisan support. State House and Senate leaders will then start negotiating a final deal.
Also today, the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization will vote on a plan to make part of Capitol Boulevard a toll road. A transportation study looked at options to add tolls between I-540 and the Franklin County line. The construction would begin in 2027 and take about 6 years to complete. Earlier this month, Raleigh City Council voted to move forward with that plan. The board's meeting is happening at 3 this afternoon.
A rogue kangaroo has a bad reputation with police in Colorado. Irwin the kangaroo has been tracked down by officers in Durango not once, but twice in recent months. Police were called after Irwin escaped and hopped over to his neighbor's backyard. Officers say he had grown significantly since his previous run-in with the law, which was 6 months ago. Back then, Irwin led officers on a chase around Main Street, all while wearing only a diaper. And just in case you're wondering, having a red kangaroo pet is legal in Colorado.
I guess it wouldn't have happened twice if it wasn't, right? Our pets of the day were rescued together and have formed a strong bond with one another. And because of that, they are looking for a forever home together. This is Malachi and Lena. Malachi is orange and white. Jump on your lap now for an intense ear rubs. Loves his billy and tail to be stroked, and his belly, I should say. And Lena is more timid, a little slower to trust, but she will slowly warm up to new people. Having her brother around helps provide her the support that she needs. If you'd like to meet them in person, you can fill out an application on the Cat Angels website.
Under the mulch, under the radar, experts are warning about dangerous ants invading North Carolina neighborhoods. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, the growing impact of the Asian needle ant and its serious sting risk.
Give you this live look, Fayetteville Street here behind us, and a lovely day on the way. It is hot and humid out there as we get over this hump day together, but change could be happening.
Yeah, if you like the refreshing temperatures and lower humidity, don't worry, it's coming. And our Memorial Day weekend will not feel summer-like, but I'm sure you will like the temperatures.
NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.